everybody, welcome back. This week's Misfit Minute, I wanted to share an activity that I've done with the kids over the years that involve nothing more than a bag or a box and some trinkets and stuff, exciting things that you can find around the room. It's a very simple thing. There are actually two activities that I used to do with this. The first one I'd call the surprise box, and I usually had a box and I decorated it and had a fun little flip top lid. And the point of these activities is the first one is to really gain some early joint attention with some of your littlest or most supported learners. And then the other one is to facilitate conversation skills, early conversation skills. So the first one, usually with my little preschoolers, and I always did circle time, and I had several little activities that we do in circle time that were very quick and easy. And I had all of my little students sitting pretty much knee to knee with me right there. I love the cube chairs because they're able to be contained a little bit. They have the little sides there, and it's easy when we're sitting knee to knee. I'd have a little stepping stool that I would sit on, so I'm basically at the same level as them. And it's really easy when they're sitting there to be able to use my hands to manage what they're doing. And I love sitting knee to knee with them to get that engagement. And one of the activities we would do during each daily circle time is the surprise box. And so I had a box, although I have a bag for this example, it's kind of the same thing. And I would put a couple of things in there, and it would be a surprise box. It would be like all excited. And I would fold it up and be like, okay, what is it? And I'd get a really excited face. My gosh, what are we looking at today? What do I see? And using just lots of animated gestures and facial expressions to get them engaged in what I was doing. And as soon as I get them engaged, then I'm opening up and go, oh my gosh, it's a car. Who gets to hold the car today? Super silly. I feel really stupid doing this in front of a camera to adults, but you get the idea that really trying to engage them in something, that anticipation, the surprise of whatever it is, or having a favorite treat or something in there to get that immediate engagement. And I would usually use the surprise box at the very beginning of circle time to try to get their attention in on me, and then we'd go into a music time or whatever activity we were doing. So that was the surprise box that you can do with the bag too. Then the second activity that I use with this is the chat bag. And so depending on the level of the students, I would get a whole bunch of little things from around the room or different talking cards or anything that I wanted to use in that time, put them in the bag. And then we would take turns. For some of the youngest learners, we would take turns pulling one out, like doing contingent statements. And so I'd pull one out and be like, I have a duck. And then the next student would put their hand in and pull one out and be, I have Thor. And so we're using that contingent conversation. I have a car, and then they pull one out, and then you can have the person previous say, you have a train. So then you're also working on pronouns as well. So a bunch of little activities you can do. Then with the students who are a little bit older and more capable, we can use this as a chat bag. So I'd have a bunch of like conversation starters in here. Pull one out and says, tell me about a time that you were embarrassed or something. Tell us about the last time that you watched a movie, or tell us about something you like to do at recess. And so they would take turns pulling them out, answering the questions, starting a conversation, and then keep going. And so I have a bunch of activities. I like to do chat chains, which is like building off of each other. I did create a resource recently about the chat chains, and I'll link that into the show notes as well as into the Facebook group. And so really my point of today's Misfit Minute is just to use whatever you have around the room to gain joint attention, to gain conversation skills, to get creative. And the other thing is just being able and willing to be silly and animated to get, especially if you're working with kids on the spectrum, to get an emotional response, an excited response, and a back and forth, thinking about you, thinking about me type of responses with lots of different activities you can find, just using what you have around the room in your environment. So that's this week's Misfit Minute. Don't forget to go to the Facebook group and grab any of the freebies and the resources that we link there, and hit a like and subscribe to us, and we will see you again next week.